Hi everyone, this is Attorney Lillian and I am here today with your Tuesday tip. When you say change of status in the immigration context, you are really just talking about switching from one non-immigrant visa, so a temporary visa, to another non-immigrant visa. So you're going from a temporary visa to a temporary visa. That's a change of status. If you are doing an adjustment of status, you can go from a non-immigrant, you can go from a temporary visa to a permanent residency. So that's to a green card. Okay, so that's the difference between a change of status going from temporary visa to another temporary visa, or adjustment of status going from a temporary visa to a permanent residency, a green card. The first thing you need to do before you even start thinking about changing your status or filing for adjustment of status, you need to figure out what type of visa do you have. Okay, because depending on the type of visa you have, you may not be able to change your status. You may not be able to adjust your status. So it's so important that you start with this first crucial step. What visa do you have? So if you have a B1, B2 visa, so that's the visitor visa, you're usually able to adjust your status and change your status. So you can go from a B1, B2 to an F1 visa. So you can go from visitor to student. You can go from visitor to an H1B, so a work visa. Now, if you have a J1 visa, which is the exchange visa, if you have a J1 visa, you need to be very careful and you need to pay attention to your visa in your passport, because some J1 visas will have a home residency requirement. So some J1 visas have a 2-year home residency requirement, meaning when you're done with your J1 visa in the US, you have to leave the US, stay in your home country for 2 years before you can apply for any other type of visa to come back to the US. Okay, and this even includes, even if you want to adjust your status, right? If you want to go from a J1 visa to a green card, if you have a crew member visa, right? If you have a crew member visa, you are not able to change your status. You are not able to adjust your status. There's no waiver for that, okay? Unlike the J1, the 2-year residency for the J1, for the crew member, there is no waiver for that. So that's why I say the first thing you need to do is figure out what visa you have and if that visa type can actually be changed or adjusted. If you find out that it cannot be changed or adjusted, there may be other options available to you. You may be able to leave and apply for a different type of visa. Okay, especially for crew members. If you're coming in a crew member visa, you may be able to just leave before your visa expires and apply for a B1, B2 visa instead of the crew member visa. The second thing you need to figure out is what other status you want to go to. So, example, if you came in on a visitor visa, what do you want to go to? What are you able to go to? So if you came in on a B1, B2 visa and you want to change to a student status, are you able to do that? Yes, right? If you came in on a B1, B2 and you want to change your status to student and you meet the requirements for a student visa, you are able to apply for a change of status in the US and change from your visitor to the student. Okay, remember, it is so important for you to know what you want to change to, because again, there's certain things that you cannot do. All right, there's certain things that's out of your control. Okay, so if you want to change your status, you have to file your application for the change of status before your current status expires. So if you came in on a B1, B2 visa, I'm just going to use that because everyone knows what that is, okay? A B1, B2 visa, you usually get 6 months, right? Sometimes the officer will give you less than that, but a typical B1, B2 visa, you get 6 months to stay in the US. That means if you decide to change your status, you have to file that change of status before your 6 months is up. Before your 6 months is up, you have to file the change of status. So if your change of status, if your current status expires on, let's say, November 1st, USCIS must receive your change of status application by October 31st. Now, if you want to change to a green card, that's the adjustment of status. To adjust your status, you, my dear, need to fit into one of 3 buckets, right? Either family, employment, humanitarian. And then if you are, if you just have the money, you can also fit into the investor bucket. Now, when you are changing to unemployment, right, or a family base or investor, you need to pay attention to the category that you're fitting into and how long it takes, because depending on what you're filing for, you may have to wait a very long time for, to get the actual visa, to get the actual green card. Now, to change your status, you need to file a form I-539. Okay? I-539. That's what you need to file in order to change your status from one non-immigrant visa to another. And you need to make sure that you have, you check off the right box. Okay? Check off the right box of what visa you're trying to go to, and make sure you have all the documents that's required. All the documents that's required for that visa type that you want to go to. Because that's the mistake people make. If you're filing to adjust your status, first off, which category are you filing under? Is it immediate relative of a U.S. citizen? Because then you can file your I-130s and your I-485 together and be able to get your green card, right? If you are looking to adjust your status, but you are the child over 21 of a U.S. citizen and there's no visa currently available, you're only filing an I-130, maintaining your status somehow until, right? Until there's a visa available and you're still in status, then you can apply for adjustment of status with an I-485. So really, this can get complicated really quickly, especially if you're trying to switch to an employment-based visas. Everyone knows about the H-1B. People ask me about it all the time. Let me tell you this. An H-1B is based on lottery, right? Much like the DV lottery, right? You enter your information, you wait to be selected, and then you can apply for the status. So you see how that may not work within your time frame, especially if you're only given like 6 months. Right? The H-1B lottery is not till April. So if you come into the US well before that, it's not going to help you. Right? If you're an investor, you may be able to just do it on your own without an employer. Do you have the funds? That's really the biggest question, right? There's an E2, an E1 visa. Those are treaty-based. So a country that has a treaty with the US, you can invest in a US company or start a US business, and you're able to then apply for either the E1 or the E2, depending on whether you're an investor or you're trading, okay? It's so important that you know which category you fit into, so that you know the requirements, and you make sure that you follow the instructions within the right amount of time to make sure that you are not creating more problems for yourself. Okay, so that is your tip for today. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. And if you like this video, go ahead and share it. If you know someone who needs to hear this, go ahead and share the video with them. If you like what I'm talking about, like the video. And if you're watching in a place that you can subscribe and you do not want to miss any of my uploads, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And I am Lillian Chukura. I am the lawyer and owner of Lillylegal, where we help our clients get status for themselves and for their family using the U.S. immigration law system. Thank you. Bye.